Hey crafters, it's Maymay and it's time for the much anticipated glue gun review. I've had a lot of you ask me about it. I was really surprised how many of you were interested in knowing about this gun, but you probably all have the same problem I do, and that is finding the perfect gun that doesn't break the bank. So I don't know, we're going to see. This might be the one, but I want to give you some information about it and show you how it works. This gun is the AdTech High Temp Pro 100. And before I go over the features on the actual gun, I want us to look at this packaging it comes in. I watched a bunch of reviews, and not just on this gun, to see what all I should show you that this gun does. And one of the things that somebody mentioned was that the packaging was easy to get into. And I don't know if that's important to you or not, but this package is super easy to get into. So I'll let you know. It just has 4 little staples in the corners, so you can get in and out of it easy if you want to reuse the packaging. The other thing I wanted to point out was on the package itself, it tells you it is a high output glue gun. The fact that it's called a pro gun says it's more than just, your simple glue gun for just tiny little projects. But in my research, I found that it is not really a professional gun. They call this an entry-level glue gun. So that's pretty cool to know. I mean, it's not something that somebody that's, building houses or laying floor or putting down carpet would use, but it's a good entry level for us. It has an insulated nozzle, which we'll talk about. It has a 4-finger trigger, which we'll talk about, and a sturdy base. This particular one also came with 2 free nozzles, 2 additional nozzles, and we'll go over those. I'll show you those. It says it's ideal for home decor, home repairs, and fabrication. Works great on metal, glass, and most wood surfaces. It's interesting to me that it says glass. I typically steer clear of glass with hot glue because glass is not porous, but it clearly says that it works on glass. So if you're looking for something to use that for. Now this uses the full-size glue sticks, and I will show you. These glue sticks are actually the ones that I got with the gun. My mother gave me this as a Christmas gift, so she actually bought me some because she said I didn't know if they were standard or if they were different, so I just wanted you to have some glue sticks. So these are the ones she bought me to come with it, and it says it bonds wood, metal, glass, florals, fabrics, and foam in 20 seconds, so that's interesting. The glue sticks themselves are 1/2-inch glue sticks, so they're the bigger ones, and I don't even know that I put, obviously I used these because I opened it, but I may have used my other glue first because I already had that open, but not reviewing glue today, just the gun. So this is the kind of glue it does use as the bigger pieces. Now let's look in the package. Now I've already opened this package clearly, but when you get your gun, this is what comes with it. And I have replaced my nozzle already, but I want to show you what you get. The first nozzle that comes with the glue gun is this one, and I want to put it where you can see just how fine that tip is on its own. Can you see that? I'm going to measure it so I can tell you how big that opening is. That is less than 1/8 of an inch. So it's not a 1/16, it's a little bigger than that, but that's a tiny, tiny, tiny opening. In my opinion, I think it is. Okay, so it comes with that one installed, and then you also get this one, which is what they call a spreader nozzle. So you can see how it's wide. It reminds me of like cake icing nozzle. So you get that one also. And then the one that I wanted was this one. And you can see I've used it because it's got glue and it's kind of, already turning colors. But this nozzle is a long nozzle with a precision point tip. You see that? And I want to show you the difference. And it's not plugged up yet because I wanted to be able to show you these things. But you can see this hole is actually smaller than the precision tip. But I liked it because I felt like it gave me a little more ability to see where the glue was going. So this hole is actually smaller than the one that I changed it out to. Now to change these out, it's super easy. One of the things I mentioned on the packaging was that it had this insulated glue tip. I want to show you this. This is your standard glue stand that opens and closes just like this. You guys have seen these on lots of guns, I'm sure. So I'm just going to push this out of the way so I can show you what we're doing here. This piece comes off. Even though I know this is not plugged up, I'm like leery of touching that tip. Isn't that funny? Do we all do that? It's a rubber piece, and it's actually a silicone piece, and it's on there really snug. You can see how that piece comes off, and what it does is it really just protects you from touching the hot area. That's really all that does. I mean, I can't imagine that the glue needs to be insulated. It might keep it warmer longer. Who knows? You can see here how you can remove this tip. It has like a like what you'd see on a nut to be able to take that off. And I used one of these pieces. It's actually, what is this? A wrench? I don't know. It says 13 on it. I don't know what that means. I just went out to my husband's toolbox and found one that fit. And I'll show you here that this one fits nice and snug. And you just twist this off to change it. I'm not going to twist it off because I've already used it with my glue until it's already in there. But you just take this piece off to put on a new piece. And then what I did, I didn't like force it back tight. I just made it nice and snug because I didn't want to take a chance of stripping anything or twisting anything. And I didn't feel like it needed to be, you know, super duper tight. So I just used one of these guys to replace that tip on it. And now I don't remember, I'm pretty sure this came already installed and I didn't have to install it. Okay, so that's the regular stand that it comes with. The coolest thing about this gun to me is the fact that you get two stands. You get this stand and this one. I really like this. Now, this stand has there's a slot in the back handle here, and you just push this in like so. And this stand plus the one on the front makes this so sturdy. I want to show you. Do you see that? I mean, it is really sturdy. I think it is anyway. It's the most sturdy gun I've ever had, even though I just knocked it over. It's still the most sturdy one. I mean, if you really have to hit that to knock it down, and I really love that. And when you use it and you go to sit it, it sits. And I love that about it. So this stand and this stand make it worth it to me. Now let's talk about this 4-finger grip. I was not sure about this at first. I thought that's kind of overkill. But then I got to thinking. The thing about some glue guns, when I've used them for a long time, I'm using this one finger to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. Over time, I start to get a little sore in my finger here. I don't know if yours do that. But what I love about this is it uses my whole hand. So a lot less pressure is put on one finger. All the fingers kind of help you do this squeezing. And I really like this nozzle. And like I said, I mean this trigger. And at first, like I said, I thought it was kind of overkill. But if you had some hand dexterity problems, and I know a lot of us do, especially us crafters, this seems like it would really be comfortable for your hand. Now, as far as anything else on the gun, I'm going to go ahead and put this tip back on. And it just slips on over that like a protective cover. Okay. And let's see, is there anything else? I do want to show you this. It has an on-off switch, which I like and I don't like. We'll talk about that once I get it plugged up and some of the stuff in the paperwork for it. Real quick before we get into plugging it up and using it, I want to show you this. It comes with this little owner's manual that's in, I think, two languages. Let's see, 3 languages. It tells us a couple of things about it. It says that it is up to 60 watts of power and that it uses 1/2-inch glue sticks. And it also tells us that it heats up to 380 degrees. So it's important that you know that this is a high temp only glue gun. Now, even though you can use the multi-temp sticks, it is only high temp. You cannot adjust the temperature on this. So if you're not comfortable with a high melt glue gun, don't even think about this one because this glue gets 380 degrees. It's hot. All right, we're going to plug it in. Okay. I have it plugged in. I have not turned it on yet, as you can see. I'm going to turn it on, and I have my timer going here, which is really hard for you guys to see, but I'll try to make it where you can, I'll bring it up here. Let me see if I bring it up. Yeah, if I bring it up and hold it, you guys can see it. So I'm going to use my timer. As soon as I turn this on, I'm going to start the timer so we can see when the glue starts to flow. So I'm going to turn this on and press start. It's my stopwatch. The thing I really like, there's a couple things I really like while it's heating up. I love that it has this light. I want to bring that where you can see that. This light to me is, I think it's invaluable really because sometimes when you walk in and out of your craft room, you might just want to be able to glance at your gun and see if you've left it on. And in the past with my little glue gun, the only way for me to know was to see if it was plugged in or not plugged in. So this will let me know if it's on or off. Now to me, there's some good and some bad about that because of this on-off switch. The paperwork clearly states do not leave it plugged in when you're not with the gun, when you're not supervising the gun basically. But with this off switch, it makes us want to just turn it off and walk away. Well, I'm kind of a scaredy cat of that stuff because I've had a house fire, so I probably do way more than I should as far as, oh, unplug this or don't unplug that. But this little guy, I probably would not lean to this off switch. I'd probably just unplug it anyway because it just makes me nervous. But if it doesn't make you nervous and you like the idea of the on-off switch, there you go. Now, I would turn it off and unplug it so that when you do plug it in, if you don't start using it right away, it's not turned on and you don't know it. A couple other things I really like about it. Well, one thing is the size. I love how it fits in my hand. Now, I have a larger hand than most. Let's talk about how big this guy is. it is from tip to where the glue sticks go in the back is 8.5 inches long. And let's see if I stand it up how tall of a spot it's going to take, if I do my ruler correctly. It's about 7.5 high, so it's a pretty big gun. And when you consider that this was my last gun, the AdTech low temp gun, this is a big old granddaddy compared to it. I like this gun, and it does not drip as bad as some guns. Matter of fact, this one hardly ever dripped. I loved this gun. But anyway, I really wanted something with that pointier tip. Hey guys, check this out. It's getting hot. And can you see, I'm not putting my hand under it. Let me do this. Do you see what it's doing right now? It's already feeding out glue. And I have been squeezing it when I was showing you. I guess I squeezed it a time or two. But it's feeding out a good bit of glue. That's a lot. See that just coming out? That's interesting. So I'm going to let that sit and keep heating up and let that drop off and see if I can get any pressure out of it. That could very well be from me squeezing it when I had it in my hand. But it's only been less than 2.5 minutes and it's already started to feed out glue. So let's see if that'll stop. We'll see how long that'll take to stop. So it looks like it stopped. It's 3 minutes and 7 seconds and it looks like it has stopped feeding out. I'm going to slide the gun over and see if it keeps feeding. I have not had that happen before when I turned it on. I really think that's from me pushing and putting pressure on it when I was showing it to you, because I haven't had that happen before. So to be fair, I don't want you to think that it's bad from the get-go. Okay. I feel like it's pretty, obviously it's pretty heated up and it's been 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's see what we get when we start to push the trigger. But before I squeeze the trigger, I'm going to make you guys come in a little bit closer so you can see everything happening. So now that I got you zoomed in closer, you can see that the nozzle has a tiny bit of glue on it, but not much. I'm going to squeeze a full trigger squeeze and move the gun, okay, so you can see me do that. And then I'm going to release it and see what the drip looks like. So I'm going to squeeze the trigger down as far as I can. Then I'm going to let go of the trigger and sit it and just see what happens. And if it starts, matter of fact, I'm going to sit it a little bit over here. If it starts to drip, we'll see that. Do you see how much glue that released in that quick a time? I'm going to stop this. We don't need it now. We're at less than 4 minutes, and I got that much hot glue already. Now, I squeezed the trigger down all the way down as I moved it. Okay, so one full trigger squeeze. And then look. There's no more feeding out. I'll make sure you guys can see it. I don't want to put my hand under it because I'm like expecting it to drip, but there's nothing coming out of it. If you can see that trigger or that nozzle. It looks as though there's some starting to bead, but it's not feeding out. My last large gun like this fed out just like this in the beginning. It did that terrible and I hated that. So let's do it again. We're going to squeeze out one full trigger squeeze all the way down. And I'm moving it. I may even do like a little zigzag pattern or something. Okay, I'm all the way down. I let go. I'm going to do what I normally do to wipe it off, which is kind of cut it loose. And then we'll just see if it will drip. It's not dripping. I have used this gun for a couple of projects before I showed you guys, and it didn't drip. And I've not heard anybody say that it drips. Matter of fact, I went on Amazon and looked at the reviews. I went on to Harbor Freight and looked at the reviews, and I didn't see anybody complaining that it was a dripper. And like you see here, it's not dripping. Now with the other two nozzles, I'm not sure because I did not use those. I really don't have a need for that spreader nozzle for one thing. The glue, I'll bring that up if you want to see what the glue looks like. You can see that first bit that kind of spewed out. There's that glue. And then it's a nice, pretty thin line. You can see how thin we can get it. And look, I have it sitting here and it's not dripping on my workstation. Awesome. The other thing I love about this gun is I can just go, I'm done. You know, use it, squeeze some out, let it go, I'm done. You see that? And I don't have to kind of teeter it on that little edge. You know, we always teeter it on this little guy and hope this stands up. With that extra base, it just sits down. Now, the best part about this gun, I have seen it anywhere from $21.99 to about $26. I actually saw in some reviews that some Walmarts at some point in time, there was no date that I could find for sure, had them for like $12 at some point in time. So I suggest you shop around and look. I'm going to put a link to it below for those of you who don't have a way, like don't have a Harbor Freight or don't have a place to shop around, and my link will be to Amazon. So one thing about Amazon is if you will watch, sometimes people will have them on sale even on Amazon. Personally, I think this is worth every bit of $25. That's my opinion. I would spend $25 on a gun that I knew was this good. That is my personal opinion. Like I said, this was a Christmas gift from my mom. She asked me if there was something she could get me, and I was like, you know, as a matter of fact, I want that gun from Harbor Freight. So that's my review, guys. I really like it. I even like this guy. It still gets hot, though. Like, you can't just, like, hold it here. It still gets hot to the touch, but I do like that it's there. And I wouldn't spend a lot of time up here with my hand either, because that's pretty hot. But for my review, I think it's worth $25 if you had to pay that. If you get it cheaper, go ahead. But I would definitely spend $25 on it. And I hope that helped you guys to decide what you think of this gun. I just love this. And you can see it's not dripping. I mean, it is not dripping anything. So that's my review. The other thing I really think is cool is that it comes with these other nozzles with it, and it's not an extra purchase. It says on the container that these are $5 extra. Now here's one thing I did notice, because you might have this question. Someone had, somewhere that I read, they talked about changing the nozzles after you've already used the gun. One important thing that it says is don't try to pull the glue out. That you never want to try to remove glue from your hot glue gun. So if it's time for you to change a nozzle, you're going to want to feed this glue as far through as you can and try to get out as much as you can. And again, that's not from the company, that's just from reviews I've seen, so that this nozzle will come in and out. Alright guys, if you have any questions I didn't answer, please feel free to put them into the comments below. I will be checking those and try to answer them as quick as I can. If I don't answer them right away, I will within a day, because I just check, you know, my emails over and over again to see. So I certainly want to help you if you guys are interested in this. And like I said, I'll link you to this guy. If you do a search for this name online, you'll find some other reviews. Not so many for this particular one, but there are a bunch for AdTech guns out there if you're looking for something maybe not so big and bulky. Alright guys, I'm glad you guys joined me today. I hope this helped you out in making a decision on your next glue gun. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.